Okay, welcome everybody. We started the recording just a little bit late. I'm Roger Broberg, and Mike Greenwood is my partner, and we're doing training. And we're in the middle of talking about the 5 forms of income. And Mike, I'm going to let you take it away.
Okay, the next form of income is cash bonuses and trips. And this shows Robert and Lauren's not laying down on this one, so earning a bonus. And then Roger and Luann and earning a bonus on that one.
Oops. So go ahead and talk about the bonuses, Mike.
Well, that just kind of proves that anybody can earn a bonus if these guys can do it. So anybody can do it. So
absolutely. And the neat thing is okay, that's the biggest check that I've ever got.
Angie's noticed.
I'm not sure if it's the $1,250 one or what, but as in biggest as in physically big. And it was so fun walking through the airport with that big check and going on the plane. We've got some background noise. Could I ask everybody that's on the call to say a color out loud?
I mean, towards the end she couldn't because you had to get the packing done.
Somebody had to get the packing done. Can you mute your line, please?
There's no one there to help us.
Don't treat me.
I don't think she's listening to you, Roger.
Okay, if you want to add anything to the conversation, you're going to need to *6 now because somebody was on another phone call while they were on this. So anyway, it was just a lot of fun going through the airport. People would ask. I got a lot of contacts from just walking through the airport with that check, and it was just a lot of fun. And I'm sure everybody else that's had one of those big checks have had a similar instance. And we put this Puerto Vallarta Challenge slide in right here because we wanted to talk to Debbie and hear what she had done, but she's got grandkids asleep, and so we kind of heard what she had done. She did all sorts of different things. Let's see here. She did all sorts of different things. She did health fairs. She talked to other people. She had a master affiliate come in. Her volume was way up. She was a walking billboard with all of the weight that she's lost and the fitness that she's gained through Fit 3. So there is still time to earn that trip. Don't give up. Keep going right to the end. A lot of volume is done at the end of the month, and we're coming up on the end of the month, you guys. So keep going to the very end.
And the fifth form of income is the ambassador program. And if you look really close, you can probably see Koila there in that group. We think she's on the right side somewhere. So.
Okay.
And whatever other ambassadors we've got on the call with us this morning, I haven't heard anybody else say anything. So,
Mike, tell us how you qualify to be an ambassador.
Well, I think you have to earn your overrides are like $4,000 for 2 months in a row, and then they invite you into the ambassador program. Hopefully, I'll find out one day what that exactly is. Experience-wise.
I don't doubt that you will experience that someday, Mike. You're a great distributor. So we're going to get into the business training here real quick.
Okay, and Mike, just the idea of how you succeed with Relive is just doing the same things every day, just kind of a circle of success, and working with new people and Relive system and daily activity and corporate support.
Okay, so you've got the circle of success, the the key to this is action now. You want to talk to people and start this daily circle of success by by doing these 5 things, actually 6 things. You want to identify, connect, share the story, ask for a decision, register and go, and make sure to follow up with those people.
Well, and the first one is to identify who you want to talk to. And the best way to do that is make a list and start off with who you thought of on products, the top 10 and the top business people you want to work with, and write why you thought of each of those people down. So when you talk to them, you can say, yeah, I thought of you because of this reason, and then start contacting them right away. And always have new people to talk to, and just keep your list growing every day. So.
Okay, so after you've made that list, you want to decide who you want to talk to, and you can work with your upline or a sideline and just figure out who you want to talk to and what you want to say. You want to share your excitement, just like with what Christina was talking about. You can use the company tools to validate and use their why you thought of them when you talk to them. And your goal here is to set some kind of an appointment.
And how you talk to somebody is there's a lot of things here, examples on how to do it. But the best one is just ask them how they are, and then just listen and find out what they're looking for. God gave you one mouth and 2 ears, and that's for a reason.
Oh, exactly. And if, as you're talking to people and getting to know people, if you ask them questions about them, they're going to talk about themselves, and they're going to tell you how or what they need. So that's really important, like Mike said, to just listen and not try and talk over them all the time. So share the Relive story. You want to share your why, your belief, your heart, and we're going to go into this just a little bit more. There's a lot of ways that you can do those presentations. You can use an opportunity book. You can use the slides online, or if you've got them downloaded to your iPad or your phone or whatever. I mean, you can do a lot of different things to introduce Relive to people.
And you share the Relive story. Make sure you do that, and share the whole story. You can do it at in-home parties, webinars, conference calls. With your upline, other distributors. You can also do it through the Lifestyle magazine, Relive blog, and video tools. And you don't have to know everything. And you can see that from just who was training you this morning. So anyway, but just use the system. And if you don't know anything, or even if you do know, just contact those people and to verify and kind of build on what you told everybody. So.
And Mike and I are a prime example that if we can do this, anybody can do this, right?
Right.
So we wanted to focus just a little bit on stories. And maybe what brought this to my mind was we did an event back in December in Salt Lake, and we did a Christmas party. And the stories were, we had, I don't know, maybe half a dozen stories, 5 stories or something, but some of the stories went anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes long. And there was even an ambassador that shared for that amount of time. And at a Relive meeting or event, we want more stories, not more story. And so we wanted to take some time on sharing your story, and we might even have a few people practice, and we'll time them and all of that. So if you would be thinking about that, and we'll have some volunteers here in just a minute, because I don't want to have to call you out, but I will if I need to. So, back to this.
Okay.
There's 3 kinds of stories that we're going to be covering. Your super short story, like for an elevator when you only have like 5 seconds. Number two, a relive event or a meeting, maybe a 1-minute story. And then there's the three-way call, which may last for, a few minutes.
Yeah, and the first one is your elevator story, and Steve Garner was so good at that. When people ask him how he's doing, he'd say, "I'm doing pretty good for a man who's supposed to be dead." And I was thinking about mine, and maybe what I could say is I was able to get back in the military. That might pique their interest enough to hear more about this.
Absolutely. Because of Relive, you were able to go back to work when the doctors didn't think you would be able to. Okay, so the second way that we share our story is like at a Relive event or a meeting, and that story should be 60 seconds. Now, I've been in Relive for 11 and a half years, and if I shared everything that has happened for me personally, my results, because every day, every year that you're on Relive, your story seems to grow. My story would probably go 20 minutes, easy. Quila's been in Relive for 25 years. I mean, she could probably share for an hour. But you want to keep it to 60 seconds, which means you're either going to have to condense or you're going to have to cut out. So the thing that you want to do when you share at a meeting is you want to state your name. You want to say where you're from. You want to be very short with, before Relive, I had lower back problems for 30 years. After Relive, I no longer have to lay on heat pads. I no longer have to take 800 milligrams of ibuprofen 3 and 4 times a day just to stay vertical. It has helped me immensely. You want to focus on those results. You can tell a little bit about what's happened before, but focus on those results. And by focusing on the results, what happened to me. I mean, that I had to take that medication because I don't have to anymore. Okay, and you always want to keep it positive. My wife's arthritis is about 90% better. I don't say, well, she still has 10% problems with her arthritis now and then. When a storm comes in, she can feel it. I don't talk about that. I talk about she's 90% better. Okay, that's keeping it positive. And so that's what you need to do when you share your story at a meeting. Now, are there any one of you that would like to come on and share your story? And we'll maybe make this scary. We're gonna time you, and then we might critique you and say, hey, you could cut out, where you were born and that your mom had a rough delivery or whatever, and we could help you to develop your story. Anybody like to come on? You're gonna have to
scare everybody, Roger.
I think I did. Everybody wanted to share about how rough their delivery was from their mom. Okay, I'm going to pick on somebody. Christina, come on. We used to do this in Saturday training. We would practice stories, and we would time and critique and do this on Saturday training. Christina, are you there? You're going to have to star 6.
He's probably laying down.
Let's pick on somebody else. Maybe Christina can't get unmuted. Louise Cole, come on. I know I don't have everybody hard muted. Let's see if I can figure out how to unmute the lines.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who's this?
I'm I don't know what's wrong with my voice this morning that it's so unrecognizable.
Are you laying down again, Lauren?
No.
Awesome. Okay, so
let's
have you share your story.
I would be
Oh,
happy
she might have
to.
been. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to text you. I was like, hey, I'll just come on and share. Leaders lead, right?
That's exactly right.
All
okay,
right.
Ready, go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Laird. I live in Garden Grove, California, and I work at Disneyland. And about 10 years ago, I was introduced to Relive through my husband, Robert. His parents got such phenomenal health results that we were excited about a business to share with others. I thought I was young and healthy and didn't really need nutrition, but I heard these stories and I heard the word prevention, and that made sense to me because my dad had a stroke and Robert's mom had a stroke. So taking something that could, help me with not having that in my future, I would be willing to do anything to help with that. And so taking Relive consistently, just notice more energy, stronger immune system, not dealing with muscle soreness like a lot of my coworkers do at Disneyland. I like to say it feels good to feel good, and so for that, I'm forever grateful, and I'll never stop taking Relive.
Wow, 58 seconds. That was perfect, Lauren.
Boom.
She told
even with a fluster.
her. Oh, that was great. You told your name. You told where you were from. You told even where you work, which is a great thing to do because sometimes people can relate to that. You told about before. You told about after, how you have that energy, and it was positive. It was great. Great story. Thank you for that good example.
Thanks.
And you didn't even tell about your mother and the labor that she went through when you were born. You were awesome. Okay, Louise, did you get unmuted there? *6.
10 minutes. Louise not talking. She must be off the phone. So.
Yeah, not happening. How about Jim Bueller? Could you come on, Jim? We'll pick on an ambassador. Not hearing you, Jim. If you're talking, you need the *6. Oh, Louise says she's on the computer. Oh, I have to unmute everything, Robert says. Okay, so now I'm going to have to figure that out. Maybe *43 again. Oh, *42.
Yay, now we can talk to you.
Hey, now I can hear you.
Yeah, this is Quila. Did you want me to share? You want Luann to come on first?
Let's see. Is Louise able to talk first? Because I kind of was picking on her.
Yes.
Hey, we can hear you, Louise. Let's have you go ahead and share.
I heard your comments, Mike. Okay, tell me
I had to get
go.
it in. So.
Okay, ready, set, go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Louise Cole. I'm from Paulsville, Washington. And when I was introduced to Relive, I was homeschooling my 3 children, trying to figure out a way to generate a few $100s just to pay for music lessons. And the next day, I was introduced to Relive by someone I didn't really know very well. And although I was very interested and very happy for people's great results because I heard lots of stories of people getting results from things I'd never heard of, I was particularly interested in the fact that they were earning a few $100s while they were getting better. That caught my interest, decided that the best place was to come in at the highest profit level, to have the most amount of product for the least amount of money. I was told, don't wait for your own results before you share it, and I I didn't. And in the first 30 days, my children and husband got great results with the product, from elbow tendonitis to depressive immune system, eczema, and attention issues. I didn't see any results myself. They came later, 4.5 months later. But in that first 30 days, I earned back my investment, and I profited over $400, what I needed for music lessons. And I love this product. I love this business. I have an opportunity to share positively, both physically and financially, to everyone, and I'll never stop. Relive.
Okay, you were 1:25.
Okay.
Are there any things that you think that you could trim out of that?
Probably a couple of us.
I noticed that you said that you started on Relive and you heard about it from somebody that you didn't even know. Kind of a nice fact to know, but not critical to your story.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's see, there was a couple other things that, just go back and look at your story. Sometimes it helps to write it out, and you can trim out a few of those fluff things that don't really matter.
A lot of times, Roger, what I do is I don't even say health results. I just go for the business. Because that was but I had added that in my head, and I could leave that out. I'm thinking business story, health story.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, and if you're sharing, if you were just sharing just business, you would have been well under a minute. And if you were sharing just health, you would have been well under a minute. But where you combine both, then that puts you at 1:25. So really combining it, that's not too bad. But if you were just to do one or the other, I'm sure you would have been under a minute.
I'm more
good job.
comfortable reading them, but thank you, Mike. Thank you, Roger. I'll make note of that.
Okay. Let's go to Jim and Quila. Either one of you, if you wanted to come on, if you could share.
I think that Jim is out. The landscapers are here, so I think he's out with them. I'll just share super fast. Let me get to an area where we can't hear them. Hold on just a second. All right. Hi everyone. Are you ready?
Yep. Go.
Hi everyone. My name's Quila Bueller. My husband Jim and I have been involved with Relive. It'll be 27 years in November. We became associated with this company through my doctor. I was dealing with a very severe, debilitating autoimmune disease, and he suggested that I get on these products. I started taking the Relive products, and within 90 days, the majority of my had lifted, and fast forward to taking this product for a year, they were pretty much non-existent. My husband was looking at this business looking at Relive from a business perspective, and when I got the benefits that I received, he knew that we had found a company that we could just really grab a hold of and build our future with. We came in at the highest profit level, and within 3 weeks, we've recouped our investment. We made about $1,000. Our first year in the business, we earned $20,000. Within 5 years, it was over $100,000. And fast forward all these years, the majority of all of those years, we've earned a six-figure income. We're getting paid today for the work that we did over a quarter of a century ago. So we love this company, and it's just a company that we'll be involved with for the rest of our life.
Okay, you were 1:06. So that was awesome, doing health and business at the same time. And with as huge of a story as you have, Quila. I mean, that condensed it down so well and so good. I can't praise you enough for that, because I know, a lot of your symptoms and stuff, and a lot of the things that's gone on with you. And I know you could go on for a long time. But when you're sharing at a meeting, just like you just did, you need to cut it down and have it be concise. And if people have questions later on, they can come up to you and ask you afterwards. So thank
Roger,
you for doing that.
I want to make a statement. Everyone's story is a big story. I mean, I just happen to have been involved a few years longer than some people that are on the call. But one of the things, and you've hit it so much, less story is more story. By me not going into all the diseases and everything that I had, it creates an opportunity. If someone had a guest at a meeting, they'd want to know, well, what was that? and then it sticks around. Whereas if I just said, oh, I've got lupus, fibromyalgia, it puts you in a box. And maybe somebody was dealing with another disease, but because I didn't say that, but yet maybe our symptoms are the same. So it just allows, the less that we share, the better. And I'm really glad that you're doing this. I'm doing the call on Monday night, the ambassador business training call, and the people that I've got on it, they're great stories. So it's going to be fun. But I just appreciate you so much talking about this. It's really good. And everyone that shared has been great.
Absolutely. And I mean, you brought out a really good point that people, if you, specifically nail down what all of those things were, then it kind of limits people thinking about, well, she had, lupus. I don't have lupus. I have another autoimmune disease or whatever. And so that's a really good point. So thank you so much for sharing, and everybody for sharing. That was great. We probably spent too much time on this, but I think it's important to practice your story. I think it's important to write it out, trim it down, and make sure that your story is crisp when you go to a meeting, because you never know when you're going to be called on.
Yeah.
So the next part is
important,
Mike.
Yeah, share your story on a three-way call, and make sure when you're the introducer that you set up beforehand, what you wanted to focus on, the person, introduce them, build them up, so they're kind of the credible person they're talking about. It makes the person that are listening to it want to know why, why they're listening, and excited to know, and tell them that they would, they'll benefit from hearing this story. And the biggest thing is to be quiet after you do that, and let them bond together and create a relationship together. And one thing I wanted to mention too is be available in Relive. If you're going to share your story and be involved in Relive, if somebody calls you, get back to them. That's probably the most frustrating thing that I've heard from a lot of people is they need a story, they need to talk to somebody, and they'll call somebody up and they'll talk to them, or they'll leave a message, and they never hear back from them. So just kind of just be available for people.
Can I chime in on that? Can I chime in on that, Roger and Mike?
Sure.
Absolutely.
I will tell you, with that being said, as you get success, and like Debbie right now earning the Puerto Vallarta trip, she's probably getting a boatload of phone calls. I could spend 8 hours a day doing nothing but three ways with everybody that wants my story. That's just not physically possible. I mean, I can't do that. And, I have people that, it's just, if you're going to ask someone for a three-way and maybe you've never called them before, you need to let them know why you were referred to them. Maybe their upline referred them to you, and maybe they thought, or whoever that was. Because I'll get people that go, that will call me and go, well, I heard that you have this story, and, I need you to share it with my friend. Or I have people that will call and say, I need you to be available. I will tell you, I delete those calls right then. There's no way that I can do that. So be aware that if you're going to be calling someone maybe that's recently lost a trip because you think that your friends would love to hear that story, or maybe you're calling an ambassador because you've heard, oh man, they've got a great story. Well, I'm not the only lupus story in the Relive world. There's lots of people that have great health stories. So just be aware of that, because sometimes it's just not physically possible to do all that. And it's not even physically possible to get back to everyone that asks for that. I hope that makes sense. And I hope that it's not being mean. But does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And physically, you're not able to field all of the calls from every distributor in the company.
Right.
Which is kind of a good place to put a plug in for a conference, because as you go to conference and as you meet people and you develop relationships with people, I think on this call we have lots of different groups, but a lot of us have relationships because we've worked with each other, we've met each other at conference, we do things, we go to dinner. That's a great way to get to know people in the company. And somebody that's busy like Quila, if somebody that she doesn't know calls her and needs her story, she'll try and do that if she has time. If she doesn't, if it's somebody that she knows personally that needs her help, she might be more apt to share for them. So that's a great place to do that, to meet people and build your story bank, is going to conference. So let's see if this will move. Okay, so the second part of this is the person that's going to be sharing. And Quila brought up the example 2 weeks ago that when somebody introduced her and said, hey, Quila wants to share your story with you. Well, Quila's busy and Quila's happy to share it, but what really is happening is what Mike said, that this person is going to benefit from hearing Quila's story. And so the person that's sharing, try and make some kind of a connection with the person you're sharing with. Ask them questions about them, talk to them, find out how they know the person that got you in touch with them. Ask them, if you can ask them a personal question. I usually will do that and say, are you looking at Relive for something specific or for prevention? And then they'll usually open up to me about what's going on, that they need more energy, or they have diabetes, or whatever it might be. Another thing that I like to do is I like to build up the person that has introduced me to them. That builds the customer's confidence in that person. Like, for instance, the other day when I did a call for Lauren, I told the person, and I truly meant it, that they were working with one of the best people in the company, that Lauren knows how to help people with the products. She knows how to help people with the business if they want to build a business. And they have just an amazing group down in Southern California. They have a lot of fun together. It's just a great group of people to be around. And so I try to help them to get to that next step, to, maybe to go to a meeting. I offer hope by sharing what's happened for me. If I know that they're looking at something specific, like maybe a stroke victim or something, then I'll maybe say, I've been able to share this with people. One of the people I've shared with helped a person that had a stroke because of a surgery, and I'll kind of tell maybe Mike's story or something. But you need to try and customize that story to help that person, and just work to help that person that's called you to share your story. So I hope that answers that. Let's see. We're almost out of time. Mike, maybe you can take that slide and we'll kind of skip to the end here.
Okay. The next one is ask for a decision, and be prepared to whatever their answer is. Be prepared with products or tools or whatever to answer their question and get them started.
Okay. I'm just looking if there's anything that we really need to cover. I think that I want to go to this slide. Okay, in April, conference is coming up. It's going to be in Anaheim. It's going to be awesome. It's 2 days. Great chance to learn more about Relive, to meet people, to share your story and to hear others' story, build your story bank, and build those relationships. And you could even piggyback a trip to Disneyland as a bonus on that deal. But conference is going to be amazing. You can write off the trip. Hey, there's a bonus too, to go to conference, go to Disneyland, and write it off. So just look towards that, see if you can swing that. If not, then you've got Orlando in October. But I would encourage everybody to go to conference. And as we go through this circle of success, there's different aspects to it, and I know we've covered those in previous weeks, and we're out of time. So, Mike, we're going to go to the last slide, and it's yours.
Okay, just the important thing is just to duplicate. Just do the same things over and over again. So, anyway, I hope some of this helped somebody out. So,
absolutely, and Mike, thank you so much for being my partner on this training. You've done great, and loved working with you. And I hope everybody has a great Relive week. I think the lines are still unmuted. If anybody wants to come on and...
Well, I do. Roger and Mike, I don't know if you see what I wrote in that box, but really, this is one of the best trainings ever, and I just so much appreciate the time and the preparation that you did for planning this training call for each of us, and I know that we've all benefited. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're sure welcome, and it was fun doing it. Thanks, everybody. You guys all have a good week.
Roger and Mike, awesome job.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Roger and Mike.
Thanks.
You're welcome.